Understanding plan test results. This video will help you to interpret your plan test score report that you received, as well as give information about college readiness benchmarks and provide strategies and resources to help you improve your score. When looking at your score report, you will see two columns with percentiles. The first column says, in the fall, U.S., fall 10th grade. This gives you a comparison of your score to all the students in the United States that took the plan test. The column on the right side says in your school. That compares your score with all the students at Warren who took the plan test. What will that mean? If your percentage was a 73, that means that you scored as well as or better than 73% of the students who took the test. It's very important to remember that for this test, 50% is average. Therefore, if your percentage was 50 or higher, that means your score was average or above average. The first thing you may notice when looking at your score report is the composite score. This number will be somewhere between the numbers 1 and 32. The composite score gives you an idea of how you scored on the test overall. It is an average of your scores on the 4 subtests. On the right-hand side of your score report, you will see your estimated ACT composite score range. This means based on how you did on the plan test, you might expect your ACT score to be somewhere in between these two numbers. In the middle of your score report, you will see the college readiness box. Each subtest has a benchmark score of where you should expect to score at this point in the 10th grade. A benchmark score can help determine your preparedness for college. Depending on where you are in relation to the benchmark score, it gives you an idea of areas you might want to focus in on to be prepared for college and to be successful when you get to college. You should have a check mark in one of the 3 columns, below, at, or above. If you are below the benchmark, that is an area you should focus in on to be better prepared when you take the ACT your junior year. If you are at or above, that means you are on track to be prepared for college and to be successful when you do get there. Admission standards you will see on the right-hand side of the score report. This gives you an idea of different types of schools and what the typical ACT scores are for admissions to get into those schools. Each school has a different type of admission standard: open, traditional, selective, and highly selective. On the right-hand side of this chart, you see typical ACT scores for those kinds of schools. Every school varies, and they might take into account different variables for admissions, but this gives you a guideline of different schools you can expect to apply to and possibly get admission based on your scores. A school with an open admission standard would be a school such as the College of Lake County. Schools with traditional admission standards are typically state schools such as Eastern Illinois, Northern Illinois, Western Illinois, Southern Illinois. More selective schools could be schools such as Illinois State University, the University of Illinois, or some of the Big Ten schools. The highly selective schools would be more of the Big Ten schools or Ivy League schools such as Harvard, Princeton, or Yale. Again, each school may take into account other factors besides just your score. For more information about admissions, you should visit each school's individual website or look them up in Naviance. The college readiness benchmarks. Depending on where your score is in relation to the benchmark, it tells where you are to be on track to be prepared for college. If you are at or above the benchmark in a particular subject, it means you have a 50% chance of obtaining a B or higher in the first year of that college course. If you are at or above the benchmark, it means you have a 75% chance of obtaining a C or higher in a first-year college course for that subject. If you are below the benchmark in any subject area, that gives you an idea of where you want to focus on better preparing for when you take the ACT your junior year. Some people aren't happy with the scores they got, and there are many resources available to help you improve your score on the test as a whole or in some of the subtests. Many of these resources are free. There are links to these resources on our Student Services webpage, which you can access from the Warren Township High School homepage. Again, some students feel they could do better or their score is lower than they had hoped for. There are many schools out there that have actually begun to de-emphasize the importance of standardized tests when it comes to admissions. This is because they know that an ACT or an SAT score may not provide the whole picture or give an accurate portrayal of a student's abilities. Therefore, sometimes schools might even exempt students from submitting an ACT or an SAT score if they meet their minimum GPA criteria. Additionally, some schools use the ACT or SAT for placement purposes only, which means they might determine where you should start in certain subjects based on your ACT composite score or your subtest scores. For more information on schools that have begun to de-emphasize the importance of standardized tests, please visit fairtest.org. There's a list of 900 schools, which is growing, and these are the schools that are beginning to look at other options and other factors besides a student's ACT or SAT score. A link to this website is also available on the Warren website. One of the resources that we mentioned to help you practice standardized test questions and to be better prepared for the ACT or junior year is Method Test Prep 2.0. You can access this through Naviance. To get to Naviance, go to the Warren homepage. Underneath the Jump To box, you will see the Naviance icon. Once you click there, it will take you to the link to log in for the O'Plaine campus. Then you can access Method Test Prep, where you can practice different questions and the different subtests to better prepare you for the ACT. There are many other valuable resources available on our guidance website. To get to our website, go onto the Warren homepage. In the Jump To box, scroll down to Student Services Guidance. It will bring you to this page. Here, there are many links to different websites about standardized test practice. You can also find information about NCAA requirements, financial aid information, and other college links and articles. If you have any questions about the information in this presentation, be sure to make an appointment to see your guidance counselor.